entrepreneurs, I don't think that we are as open to growth as we like to think we are. I had the privilege this morning of being in a weekly Clubhouse group that I'm part of, and the question got raised: how do entrepreneurs, how do we start with nothing and how do we grow it? So I want to address the question of growth. And I also want to walk you through some really traumatic steps and things that it took me to get to this place of success. And I want to help you speed up your own process so that you can start nailing the growth. And I want you to back up a second with me. I had to start thinking about, what is growth? How does this actually work? And there's a million templates out there. And I think that as we reduce the noise and we get down to the nitty-gritty, there's 5 key things that are happening for super successful entrepreneurs. And I want to help you hack it. So this is part of what I went through. As I started looking at growth, my husband and I had a conversation where he said, yeah, you don't do anything. You don't do anything. You just process and think, and you bring it in, and then you create notebooks upon notebooks of information, and you tune into things and you listen, and then you get super motivated, and then you run out and you start doing those things for 5 seconds, and then maybe there's a lot of money involved, and I built several really big successful businesses, and you would think that that means that I am growing, but in reality, I'm not. And so here's where I would go back and I would just ask you, my entrepreneurial friend, are you really growing? I bet that you're like me and we're not. And until recently, I didn't actually start tapping in to the growth model that already exists. I was part of the masses of entrepreneurs that were making cool stuff happen, but they really weren't leading from a place of authenticity that really was going to affect change and be that ripple that I always talk about. And so I'm going to talk about the mind part, not so much the body part of what I've been doing. We'll catch that on another video. So here's one of the things I would have you write down first. Number 1, where's the pain? When you're brand new in a business, whether it's a business that has a model set up for you like network marketing or a franchise, something that already has a proven plan, you have a reason that you want to be part of that. You have the pain of wanting to make more money and you see this as an opportunity. You have the pain of wanting to change something and you get excited so you share it, right? There's a thing that's out there that's causing pain and you're thinking, I've got the solution. I've been there, okay? As we start thinking that way, I've got the solution, we get fired up and then we start doing different things. So the pain is actually going to give you an opportunity to create something beautiful because you're not alone. And there's other people out there that are experiencing these same things. So some people will sit in that and they've got something amazing, but they never share. I don't think that those people are actually watching this video. I believe that we are the people that see the pain point and we go, gosh, how can I help me? And how can I be the ripple in this field that I'm part of? And for me, it's the mentoring of entrepreneurs. That's my jam. So when I look at that, I go, number 1, what's the pain? Okay. And this might take you a minute. I had to sit and, write out journals and really think about it and start talking about it. And here's where I would caution you. The thing that you think you should be doing is often the thing other people have patted you on the back about and said, hey, you're really good at that. So let me use my own example. From the moment I was really young, I could read a room. And I didn't know until recent days that that was because of trauma, of needing to make sure things were safe, needing to make sure that my needs got met, never really feeling like, my mom, who was doing the best she could with what she had, she was a teenager when she had me. So of course, naturally, there's a lot of 70s-ish, right? You can do it, figure it out as you go along. But there was also a lot of, she just wasn't emotionally taking care of herself, let alone knowing how to take care of me. So when I started this entrepreneurial journey, there was a lot of mind junk where it was wrapped up in, is this a pain that I could teach other people? Or is this something that I'm thinking that I'm really good at because other people have told me that I am? To the point where I was the #1 pancake breakfast ticket seller in, I think, 1st or 2nd grade. And part of my skill set that I teach with in our community is how to nail sales. I'm really good at it. But where did it come from? It came from learning how to read a room, being generally enthusiastic, getting out there, doing something because I wanted attention. And so I was doing something in our neighborhood where I went door to door and all the elderly people were like, oh, she's so cute. She's got a single mama down the street. We're going to buy a pancake breakfast ticket. And nobody's even going to go to the pancake breakfast. Y'all, I didn't even go to the pancake breakfast. I didn't, because we didn't have a car. And we also had a lot of issues where we weren't super accepted in our community. And I had a biracial family and like all these things that were happening in that time. But that put aside, I had a pain of wanting to feel important, but I had a attaboy of, you're so good in sales and you're really good at breaking down hard things into simple. So when you think about wanting to grow, are you going to build a business from a place of a pain point? And how are you serving other people? And how are you growing yourself? And so the idea of needing to grow, the process of going from this is why to this is why, took me time. I have been in businesses and teaching in my field for almost 3 decades. So there's a lot of lessons. So when I started the journey of building Unapologetically Gutsy, don't know what's up with the glasses today, whatevs, but when I was building that, I had a lot of, but these people think I should do this, and these people think I should do that. And so that went back to where I began really trusting my own gut instinct and turning off a lot of the mental, okay? So 2 is clarity. Now, clarity tripped me out, because I started listening to people talk about clarity. So this is kind of a behind the scenes of what I did. I had a pain. I had hit rock bottom. I knew that my gut was telling me that the path I needed to be on was not different and abandon everything else, but really take those lessons and pull them forward and move into that next season of how I could live and grow and serve and really help people reduce the noise in the mind-body space while supporting people that were really growing things. So #1, I had the pain. This is a mess. I don't love this. I'm in pain. And then the reflection of this is how I got to that place. I started evaluating things. I got into therapy. I started really looking at where I want to go. And it doesn't have to be that deep, y'all. You could just want to create the next best puzzle. I don't know. But for me, growth was a lie. I was lying to myself. I wasn't growing. I was absorbing and I was collecting. I am a brilliant Rolodex. That is why the business that I'm creating is so good, because I've been collecting all this stuff for decades. And so when I look at that clarity, last October, and it's currently, when you watch this video, it's March of 2021. Last October, I had literally jumped online to grab a graphic from a man that I didn't know anything about. His name's Brendon Burchard. And I literally was thinking, I'm in this other business, I'm supporting people, I have this huge business, and I really want to take a minute and put something out there. And he has great words. I've seen him float around before. One of my really good business friends lives in Australia. She's always posting him. And I thought, oh, he's got good stuff. What was his name? And I pulled him up and I saw that he was running a virtual huge event in October. And I thought to myself, huh, Okay, I'll watch him. I'll see what he's about. I'm not really sure. I've been in the mind body space for forever. I've a degree in psychology. You know, I'm a nutrition therapist. I've been growing businesses for decades. And I thought, okay, I'll go check this guy out. And my husband was out of town and the kids were gone. And I wasn't going to do anything more than just the one day. And I got plugged in and I thought, oh my Lord, these are my people. Like crying, didn't know these were my people. And I had always been the person that was leading the way in teaching other people, but I had never really gathered a tribe of other big thinkers and high achievers. I just hadn't. I'd always just been the one doing my thing. Well, growth begins to happen when you start rubbing up against the mental spots of other people that are doing amazing things from different industries. They weren't in my same health and wellness industry at all. And so clarity came for me when I started listening to Brendon talk about, you got to get clear. And this is where I cried. I thought, I'm not clear. I don't understand. I don't know where I'm going. I know I'm in pain, but I don't know what this could look like. And at the end of the day, I just want to serve. So how do I take something that I just want to serve, and how do I go from being a person that's always been the go-to, good job, to really having that plan that I've been teaching other people on the down low for decades and really creating the community that I'm supposed to? And I got permission by associating with people that have already done big things. And it wasn't so far out there. And so as I started getting clarity, I would encourage you, if you're stuck in the clarity zone, go back and start just absorbing it and then write the notes. I started just writing the notes. And then I would schedule time in my normal day job that I adore and love. And I would just schedule the time, go to work, shut it off, and then put time in here. And I was already learning how to meditate because of utilizing that. It was my choice. I told my therapist months ago, you know what? I just really feel like I'm supposed to sit in my own space. My whole life has been loud. I just want to sit and be quiet because I was always in survival mode. So my pain was apparent, but I didn't know what it meant. And I was successful. So why bother growing, right? When you hit a point as an entrepreneur, you're like, I got this. Well, some people, right? You're my people. We really want more. We want more not because what we have is not great. We want more because we want to grow. And that was me. And so I started doing that last October. So then I had pain, then I had clarity. And then through time, the clarity refined itself. And I heard so many entrepreneurs. And here's where I would say, if you're in a field that already exists, then you don't need social, you don't need any kind of social, I don't remember what that's called, where people say, oh yeah, I've heard of that before, right? When I started in gut health, I was the person people laughed at. I was the person that stood in front of a room in a library and for 30 minutes poured out why blood sugar mattered and why gut health mattered and the superpower that your gut has, because I'd lived through years of our family. We had lived through challenges with my son and I'd seen the changes from him, from supplements and diet changes. And so I began to understand long before you'd ever heard of the microbiome, we had in our home this knowledge. And I remember standing there and having a woman laugh. She literally turned to the woman next to her when I said, you have within you Candida yeast. It's meant to break your body down when you die so that you go back into the earth. And it gets overgrown when we eat a certain way. And that's part of what I teach in our community. And so I literally saw her, because I'm really attuned to reading a room because it's safety first, right? My own trauma, my own background. And I literally sat there and watched her turn and giggle. And now, 9 years later, people are like, oh yeah, yeast overgrowth. And so what I would say is that that third thing is, where's the template? Somebody right now is already doing what we need. Somebody right now is already making magic in whatever zone that clarity is knocking you towards. And where I had to shift in my brain was, I love talking with people that aren't in my industry, because starting in October, I started listening to all these other people. And when you're teaching all the time, it reminds me of one of the doctors that I helped create a program for. He said, yeah, I don't ever have time to read and listen to all those things because I am always in the office working with patients. And so I would read a book and he'd never heard of it, not because he wasn't brilliant, but because there was no time. And so I love putting myself in the space of other people. And this is something I've always loved, but I didn't realize that's because, number 3, there's a template. Success leaves clues. And so what we can do is we can look to others that have done it before and we can say, oh, my idea is sad and pathetic. And people have done it before. And so that means there's no room for me. That's why I stopped blogging. I was blogging before blogging was popular. I was talking about what we were eating before people were doing that. Not in the masses, I'm sure people were. My friend Tammy was taking pictures of her food long before, and now it's like, right, been a thing for a decade. But I quit blogging because the crazy, sad, small thinking part of my brain just hadn't grown enough yet to know that saying to myself, there's a lot of that out there, I shouldn't do that. Yes, and that also means that there's already social proof, right? Jenna Kutcher talks about social proof, and Evan Carmichael became another online mentor from a distance for me, where I heard him say, but can you do it better? So when you pull into number 3 and you think about, there's a plan already. So there is a plan. So if there's a plan, then hook into it. Choose to grow. And when you choose to grow, you choose to have the mindset, right? Growth means that painful mindset that you know it's going to be okay and you're going to grow. So you have proof is one track. I am on a track that doesn't exist that I know of. It probably does. There's nothing new, people. But part of what I'm looking at is that as we move forward and we grow this new business, what I'm growing is literally unapologetically gutsy. And as people, I don't know about you, but I do this. I'm getting my hair cut and I was like, yeah, I started this thing. I'm really excited. And I tell her the name and she kind of pauses. And I can take that to mean this is a bad idea. Or I can take that to mean, my clarity, my gut, it told me this is where I need to serve. And I'm going to just tell her, you're going to be so excited. You're going to love it. Is she the person that's really building something that has a template? Well, not for me. So we have choices when we look at number 3. We have choices, which is to find the template. It's everywhere. Okay. And so I began to put myself in this space. And so my days looked like this. Put the time in that needs to happen with my family. Put the time in that I love. Right? Put the time in for the businesses that I've already grown, that I adore, that I want to keep going because I believe in them. And choose growth, which means I'm not abandoning what I've learned before. I'm pulling the best of. It's like the top 100 hits versus why should we have to move forward? Find the people that are doing it and then choose. There's going to be somebody. Ask. We need other people. And I was a person that always thought, nah, I'm good, right? Because people didn't know what I was talking about. So then I was like just sharing all the time to the point of no boundaries, lost my soul, had a fabulous come apart, and that's on another day. So what do we do next? Well, we move forward, right? We start really looking at number 4, where we begin to get into action. Okay, I might have added another one in there for you. I don't know. Get into action. This is where the entrepreneur, this is where we lie to ourselves. We think we're doing things. And what I heard happening during all these different opportunities I was listening to, I began absorbing in my calendar because I heard Anthony Truck say in October that we have self-esteem. And I thought, OMG, that's me. I'm such a gatherer Remember, I'm the mental Rolodex. I'm such a gatherer and connector that I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good podcast. Oh, yeah, that's a really good book. Oh, that's a really good website. Oh, man, him over him there, he's doing an awesome job on that. She's doing an incredible job on that. And that's why I'm so good in our community, because I'm always connecting what I've seen. And so what I started doing was shifting and looking at, what do I have on my shelf that I can pull from? What did I listen to Glow say? What arena do I need to be part of? And then here's what I started doing, is looking for places in my day to apply it. So part of the template that I teach within our community is, what is it that moves you next? I help you define that. And then I help you, because you already know, because it's in your gut. And then I look at what action and where's the accountability need to come in. Because what I was really running into was that the more I spent time quiet as an entrepreneur on my own, loving on people, pouring into people, and I really didn't have a tribe and a community. I didn't have anybody that would say, hey, you're gonna be okay, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know that I should be seeking these people out, and I certainly didn't have tens of thousands of dollars to be part of some mastermind. I really needed to start using what I already knew, but I wasn't giving myself permission to grow. And so that was wrapped up in a lot of stuff. Now, here's the last couple things I'll leave you with. I'm on Clubhouse every morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. weekdays. And here's the thing that I know that a weak moment can produce in our mind. We drop the blog because we think everybody else is doing it, or we look at it as social proof. There's a template, let's go. I have been put in the opportunity of multiple people that have keep being brought into my life. Multiple people. And I've been pulling from them, what do I need? And then I met, so Glow, right? I look at what she does, I look at everything she creates, and I think, I have no clue how to do that, but I'm fascinated by it. So can I be inspired and go learn it? Or can I just love it from afar and cheer her on? And as an entrepreneur that's super intuitive and super, big thinking, that lack of action is a financial killer. Because if I'm not moving something forward, what am I going to make an income from? And at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, we need to make money. And so I'm looking at these things, and again, I'm shuffling it through my head. So what has now happened? Brendon said, get clarity. All right, work on your habits. Okay, I'm doing that. And then I keep showing up to my other job, and I keep thinking about the next new thing, and I keep pouring into people, and I keep finishing something well. It's a new habit. And then I'm moving into the next thing. Anthony said, stop looking at all the information you have in your life and start getting clear. Perfect. I've been banging the drum that the mind and body space is way too noisy for way too long. There's too much noise. Let's get back to basics. Perfect. Remind myself to do what I already say. Perfect. And then I'm like, Clubhouse, interesting. It's not for everybody. And I'm sitting here the other day and I was jumping on for something because I saw that Evan, who I decided I wanted to do more with YouTube, I love YouTube, but I don't understand it. And I can get stuck in my own analytics and I don't know what this means. You know what? That's a victim story. Because yes, I can learn how to click a button that says people want to watch or don't watch things. And he also gave me permission to just keep producing, because maybe you tuned out 15 minutes ago, but maybe somebody else has been struggling with the same thing I struggled with for 25 years. And you're going to take what works and go apply it to you, which is what I'm doing. So Evan said, make these things better. So one day I'm on Clubhouse and I see Evan pop up because I'm playing with the app and I just happened to. I'd come home from the gym in the morning. I'm waiting for Brendon Burchard to start his morning growth day. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to Jamie Kern-Lima, and all of a sudden I see this app pop up and it says Evan's on Clubhouse. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I kind of wormhole it backwards and I discover a man named Mark. Now here's what I would leave you with. People will be brought into your life for two reasons, and you get to choose. They are either going to be the person that reminds you that things are already being done. They are. Or you're going to choose to grow the muscle of the more forward-thinking, growth-focused way, and you're going to choose. This is what I chose. This is what we can choose. You can choose that that person is either going to remind you of what you don't do well, or you can choose to remember that that person's there to help refine what you already do well, and you do bring a lot to the table. So as I say that to me, because we have that choice. We can either choose to look at something like it's just a reminder and all is, and I'm just going to do little. It's easy to do little in entrepreneurship because the entrepreneur zone, it's so wide. So many people don't want to work for themselves. They wash out. They don't stick around. You know, the pain of growth is too much. And I've been there, and it's okay to be in that season while still growing. Okay. So I got to meet Mark, and Mark opened me up to an entirely new side that I was purposely trying to grow, and gave that opportunity to each other to go back and forth. So yeah, it's huge. So here's what I would leave you with. 5 things that will help you move towards growth. And also looking at growth being, by definition, action. Imperfect, forward action. And the mantra that sits in my heart every single day, that has been sitting in my heart for months and months. And I've pulled this idea from so many things I've heard. It's not that it doesn't bother me, and it's not that I don't hear the noise, and it's not that I don't have to have conversations with the voices in my head that tell me I'm not enough, or tell me that I don't need to do this, or tell me that, you know, why are you doing this? You're already successful. I could have all those thoughts derail me. But what I keep reminding myself is that what I came from was messy. It's very messy, it's very convoluted, it's very painful. And I can choose to honor that mess while still growing forward. So I leave you with that. I'm going to talk with Mark on another video about love languages and how to utilize your own love language to help you as an entrepreneur take the next step and scale back to number 1. What's the pain? Where's the clarity? And how to use them to make action happen. Bye, you guys.